Hi everyone, today we are going to do a little bit of a different video. Today we are doing an install and review. Now today I am doing the Fluidmaster Toilet Fill Valve. This is item number 400AH. The reason why I wanted to do it a little bit different is because I wanted to show you how easy it is to install one of these in case you've never done one before. Even though it does show you on the box with photos of how to install it, sometimes the photos aren't enough. Especially if you are new to being a DIYer, do-it-yourselfer. I have a toilet in the bathroom that keeps running, won't stop. Even though I cleaned out the fill valve, and it still does the same thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and replace it. But this is going to be kind of a ongoing review, so the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm going to go ahead and install it, tell you how easy it is. We're going to review it. However, I can't give you the quality because I don't know how long this is going to last. I put several of these in, not this particular type, but I've had put several fill valves into this toilet. And I don't know why they keep failing after about a year, but we'll see how long this one lasts. And if this one does well within 6 months, I'll update the video. If it's still doing good in about a year, I will edit the video and let you know. Anyway, here is what you're going to need for the fill valve. Alright, you're only going to need two things. You're going to need an old sponge. Look how old this sponge is. I only use this one mainly to clean up stuff like, you know, the grill, obviously, and sometimes spills on the floor, that type of thing. Never use a sponge that you're going to use for your dishes. So you're going to need an old sponge. Let me adjust the camera here. And you're going to need a pair of, you're either going to need a wrench, or you're going to need a pair of pliers, or you're going to need, well, I'm using channel locks, but anything similar. That's the only two tools you're going to need. That is it. So that's all you're going to need if you're just doing the fill valve. So let's go ahead, we're going to go ahead and open up the box. I'm going to set the tools to the side here. Let's open up the box. Let's see what it has inside here. It looks like they put it upside down. That's weird. And take this out. Okay, and there's one more thing we're going to need. Sometimes they have it in the box, sometimes they don't, but they don't this time. It is Teflon tape. So here is the little adapters that you see here for the fill valve. Here's the instructions with the warranty information. This one has a 7-year warranty. I don't know how, I don't see this lasting 7 years. This little tube here goes inside, it goes from here like this, and this goes inside the little tube that fills up the tank. And I believe this is new. This is some kind of adapter that adjusts the water flow. Yep, that's what it looks like here. You turn this little wheel and it tightens down on the hose, and it tells you, you know, it restricts the water flow into the toilet tank itself. And that's pretty much it. Take this paper off. There is the fill valve. This little twisty thing here, you can adjust the height depending on the you know, the depth of your toilet tank. Looks like it's pretty self-explanatory. I can't get this clip up. There we go. And you see how you can adjust it just by twisting it. And then when you're done, just put the clip down and it locks it in place. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and install this, and I will talk to you in one moment. Alright guys, I hope you can see this okay. The first thing you want to do on your toilet is make sure you turn off the water valve to the toilet. So turn off this valve right here. Okay, now that the water valve is off, the next thing to do is to go into the toilet tank itself, and we're going to start emptying out the water. If you don't do that, you're going to have water all over the floor. Take the lid off, and what we're going to do is we're going to flush the toilet. Get as much water out as we possibly can. This is where your sponge comes in. So you can see here, there's a lot of water still left in there. If I went ahead and take this out, all this water will leak through here. Will leak right through here. And what's going to happen? It's going to go all over the floor. We don't want that. Now you can put a pan down there on the floor if you wanted to, but to me that just gets a little messy, so I'm just going to use my trusty sponge. And what we're going to do, we're going to take the sponge, apologize with the camera work, and I'm just going to stick it in here. I'm going to lift this up a little bit more. I'm just going to stick it in here and just scoop out all the water that I can. You can use gloves if you want to, but it is fresh water, so it's just in the tank. It's no big deal to me. But if you had any toilet cleaners in here, such as, you know, anything bleach or there's bleach tablets, I would recommend using rubber gloves. But I never had anything like that. Alright everyone, so I'm back. I got as much water out as I could. It's pretty dry. So the next step would be we're going to start unhooking the old valve, this thing here. So we're going to go underneath the toilet again. We are going to remove this one first, this thing. So you don't really want to over tighten these, because if you do, it's only plastic. It's going to split. And this one shouldn't be on there too super tight, but it's tight enough to where I'm going to need my trusty pliers. In this case, the channel lock. Let's grab it just a little, just gingerly. You don't want to do it too tight, because if you do it too tight, you're going to crack that nut, and you don't want to do that. Alright guys, so I got it loose. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. I'll put the sponge on the bottom here to catch any water that might be dripping. So I'm just going to go ahead and unscrew this. I'm going to set that to the side. See, the water just dripped out, but this sponge caught it all. Now there's another little nut right on top of the toilet tank itself. If you can see it, it's black. That's going to have to come off too. So once again, I'm going to need my channel locks or pliers for that. So we're going to go ahead, take this out. Like I said, it's kind of hard to do when you're holding the camera too. Alright, so I got the nut out. Now it's just the stem. And now the entire old fill valve should come right out. There it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it into the box that the new one came in and just throw it all away. Alright, so we have the new one here. What you first want to do is you want to put this rubber O-ring onto the new fill valve first before you put it in the tank. So it should slide up on there like so. And it should look something similar to that. Now, here's an important part. If you have Teflon tape, I recommend you using Teflon tape and Teflon tape the threads. Unfortunately, I don't have any. I'm shocked that I don't have any. So I'm going to try and install this without it. But Teflon tape will help ensure a nice tight seal so that you don't have any water leaks when you tighten it up, when you put it in. So you're just going to take the fill valve, find the hole with the other one. Now I see some debris around that hole there, so I'm going to use a little piece of toilet paper. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. And there it is, nice and clean. Take the other fill valve. You're just going to fill it, put it in just like that. Just like right, just like that. And you want the valve, you want this part, the hose part, to face towards this part. So you want it kind of sort of facing like that. So right there should be good. Now you're going to take this little nut here and you're going to screw it in underneath on the bottom where the pipe comes out at, where the old or where the new fill valve is sticking out at from underneath. Another little important thing regarding fill valves and when you're dealing with plastic nuts like that is get the nut right here. Where is it on the camera? Right here. And finger tighten it as tight as you can. And then use your pliers on it and give it just a slight additional turn. You don't want to over tighten it because it is plastic and it will split on you if you overturn it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I went ahead and tightened it just a little bit more. Now, in your kit, this one didn't have one, which I'm also surprised about, but sometimes you'll have another little nut like this one that comes into the kit. Most of the time you can reuse it. Reuse the ones that you have already that's connected to your supply line, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. But again, this is plastic, so be careful over tightening it. If you over tighten it, it will split, and then you're going to have to replace this entire assembly just because of this nut here, because it's not just going to, you can't just replace the nut, unfortunately. At least on this, not on mine, because it came with the hose. So we're going to take this, we're going to line it up to the fill valve, and we're going to try to, all you have to do is just tighten it up. Again, you want to hand tighten it first. And, again, I'm trying to do this while I hold the camera. It's not exactly the easiest to do. So, like I said, you just want to hand tighten this as well. Pretty snug. Don't have to be super tight, but you don't want it really loose. Alright, that's about as tight as I can get it. I'm going to use my pliers here and just give it just a tiny little turn just to tighten it a little bit, and that should be it. We need to hook up our hose here because this pipe here is what fills up your total tank. So without this, nothing's going to flow into your total tank and help flush away whatever needs to be flushed away. So hook up the hose end onto the little nozzle here, like so. And then you have this little clip. I'm going to slide that down and make sure it's clipped around, kind of like the hose end. And it just keeps it from coming out. And then same thing on the other end. Just like this, clips onto the total tank. Now, I didn't use this that came with it because my bowl fill tube had like a little adapter already on it, so I just slipped it on there. If yours doesn't, then the only thing this does is this slides down on the tube like this, and then you stick that on there. Now, if the hose is too long, mine looks like it's a little too long. If the hose is too long, you can always cut the hose a little bit to fit, but I think mine will work okay. And this, like I said, this is the water regulator for the bowl. I don't know if I'm ever going to use it. So everything's in, so now we're going to turn on the water and see if we got any leaks. Everything's filling up, as you can see. Now this is adjustable, so you can adjust it to raise it tall or small depending on your total tank size. But I didn't adjust mine right out of the box because it was fun. So it says it's a quiet fill valve, but it doesn't sound too quiet to me. Went ahead and got my flashlight, guys, just to show you. There's nothing here, and up underneath, no leaks, everything looking good. Everything's nice and bone dry. What I'm going to do is, for the next couple of days, just keep an eye on it to make sure the flow is still dry. If it's leaked, then tighten up the bolts or the nuts. If the floor is wet, but otherwise it should be good to go. So some of the pros with the Fluidmaster 400AH. It's very easy to install. It's really not much to it. Basically, you take out the old fill valve and you put in the new one kind of pretty much the same way as the old one was, and you screw on the supply line, and that's pretty much it. So it's very easy to install, but most fill valves are. So most fill valves are going to be installed the same way. This particular one, the Fluidmaster 400AH, wasn't very expensive at all. I spent about a little over $10 on Amazon. I will leave the link in the description below. So it's pretty affordable. And it's very easy to adjust the water level as well. All it is you just turn the little black screw that holds the float, and that's how you adjust it. You turn it counterclockwise or clockwise to adjust the height. But some of the cons on this, which is going to drop it down a few stars in my opinion, it's very noisy, and I'm not the only one that complained about it. If you look on Amazon, you'll see some reviews that complain about how noisy it is. Despite what it says on the box, it's not the quietest at all. Actually, this is probably one of the most noisiest fill valves that I've ever bought. But, you know, it is what it is for the price you pay. And it also fills very slowly. Now, I'm actually timed this, and to fill the tank up to the water line, it took about 3 minutes. Sometimes it takes so long, you go to the bathroom and check to make sure the flapper isn't stuck open. And yeah, it takes a while for it to fill, and I'm not sure why. Even with the water valve, even with the water shut-off valve open all the way. It doesn't come with any Teflon tape either, so keep that in mind. If you're like me, I like to use Teflon tape whenever I work with plumbing, especially with plumbing where a nut screws onto another device. I like to Teflon tape those threads because there's an added protection against leaks. This is probably the first fill valve I've ever bought that didn't come with at least a little tiny bit of Teflon tape. So that was a little disappointing. And another thing is this going to last? It feels very, very cheap. I don't have this in the video, but when I was installing the fill valve, the tube that screws into the base actually pulled apart. So hopefully it's not going to fly off one night, but I think it's locked down pretty good now. So this is after 3 weeks of having this installed, and it's still working pretty good. So it's working the way it's supposed to. It's filling up and shutting off when it's supposed to, other than it being very noisy and takes a while. Anyway, if you're on a budget, do I recommend this? Well, I mean, there's better ones out there, so it depends on what you're looking for. I do give this a 3 out of 5 stars. So it might be worth a look at if you are on a budget, and if you go in knowing that this is not exactly quiet and it's not exactly a quick fill valve, but you don't want to spend more than, you know, $10, $11, then this might be for you. I'm going to keep mine since it's already installed and it is working, but honestly, I don't see this lasting long. The box says it has a 7-year warranty. I seriously doubt if this is going to last 7 years. To be perfectly honest, I expect to be replacing this in about a year or two. And it's just not worth turning it in, you know, for a warranty replacement, since it only costs, you know, less than $11. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more reviews. I got more reviews coming up. And if you had this particular unit, let me know what you think of it. If I'm wrong about anything, let me know as well. I'd love to hear from you guys. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see everyone on the next review. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.